Johnny Depp. He's been the subject of some ugly headlines and allegations this week. His estranged wife, Amber Heard, is accusing him of domestic violence. She's been granted a restraining order. And meanwhile, Depp's latest film, Alice Through the Looking Glass, is proving a major disappointment at the box office. Stephen, some observers are drawing a connection between Depp's current legal problems and his film's bad showing at the box office.
Right.
What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, the poor guy, his mother died too, same week. Worst week of his life, I guess. I mean, but I don't really think there's any connection because he's been making bad movies for a long time, right? I mean, he's been making bad choices for a long time. And I think this is just, it's interesting because he's not like Nick Cage. He's not like someone who's a bad actor and because he's a bad actor is starting to fall apart and people don't want him. He's actually a great actor who's like a wonderful actor. He just makes terrible movies. It's really hard for me to feel pity for anyone who would make those Alice movies. I mean, they're so bad. There's such a destruction of like one of the greatest novels of all time, greatest works of art of all time, and just terrible 3D nonsense converting into Hollywood pap. And, it's just like, how many bad movies can you make in a row?
As you said, the trouble with Depp's career predate these allegations. He was once, admired as one of the best actors of his generation, but he's had a string of flops. Rachel, what's going on with his career?
Sure. I mean, one thing I just want to say off the top is I just want to sort of separate the idea of what's happening with the domestic violence allegations from his career, because I sort of feel uncomfortable with the idea of suggesting, like, it's unclear exactly what happened. There's lots of back and forthing, and I don't really like thinking about domestic violence in terms of what the impact it'll have on his career and his box office showing. That feels not right. Talking about him solely as an actor, I think the problem with Johnny Depp is that, the thing that's great about Johnny Depp is the same thing that's the problem, is that he takes on these weird roles. He works a ton with Tim Burton. He's worked a ton with Gore Verbinski in the Pirates of the Caribbean series. And so he takes these weird, quirky roles, often under a lot of makeup and hair and affectation. And he can kind of go there, but sometimes he disappears as an actor in a bad way, where there is nothing underneath the makeup and the wigs and the affectation. And so it feels like the very thing that can make him interesting makes him somewhat of a cipher. And it feels like his acting at times can be reduced to a series of twitches and wigs and weird makeup. And I think that he doesn't really want to be seen. I think he doesn't actually want to be vulnerable on screen. And when he comes through in something like Finding Neverland or even in Edward Scissorhands, underneath all of that costume, he's quite remarkable as an actor. But I just think I don't even know who Johnny Depp is as an actor in most of his films.
Charles, you've been nodding in agreement there with that assessment.
Yes.
You're a director. What do you see in Depp's recent performances? Why has it not been working out?
Yeah, I agree with my friends here. I think it is exactly that. There's something that there are actors that I think that in all kinds of genres that kind of end up doing a shtick if they're not really challenging themselves or they've done it. And I don't know how exciting it is for him to actually get into these certain roles that are interesting and quirky. I'd really love him to Daniel Day-Lewis it sometime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is like, and I think that becomes is almost, I'm not downplaying the craft and work and how hard it is to play these characters that go to the places that Johnny Depp can take them, but I feel like they're soulless. And that's where I think that with an actor of that kind of capability and character, I think he's been Hollywoodized. Like, it's like plugging him in when we got this and certain filmmakers repeating themselves and they've got their thing that they do. Who else are you going to go to? It would be nice if we found the next Johnny Depp who can do that kind of stuff, the Charlie Chaplin-esque type of Roberto Benigni, like really interesting.
And then Depp can move on.
And he can move on. And I like to see the man now. And I mean, Donnie Brasco was interesting, but even still, it was like, look who he's working with, and look what he was surrounded by, and so I like to see him get a little bit.
I thought Black Mass he was pretty good. I mean, I thought he gave a very interesting performance in there. But I mean, it's exactly like you say. It's like, and the thing that's funny, I mean, my theory of Johnny Depp is that he did 21 Jump Street, and then basically he's been trying to recover from being a 21-year-old matinee idol, and so he's trying to be quirky and alternative in these utterly predictable ways, right? Like the Mordecai movie, like wear a wacky mustache. Right, like it's about as alternative as mass chocolate, right? I mean, it's like a sort of mini Brooklyn of an actor. Just alternative, but in a totally predictable way.
Well, I think another thing that's interesting here, though, is he's had these flops. He was nominated for an Oscar that's going back more than a decade ago now, so it's been a while. But he's still kept this kind of mystique. At the same time. What do you think
I don't know what that...
I think part of it is, he moved to France, right? I mean, he spent a bit, he sort of just said, I'm done. I think, I'm not going to be part of the Hollywood scene. So I think part of it is he's not someone who's in the paparazzi spotlight. So there is an element of, until this moment, his private life has actually been very quiet and not on the radar in that way.
Yeah, so he's a real artist. I mean, there's an artist, and I think that even what we just kind of touched on, Stephen, is being this cute, pretty boy, and so forth, and want to be respected for your craft. So you break away, you start to do these sort of things, and everyone gives you this attention for it, and they're saying you're so great at it. So keep doing it again, keep doing it again, keep doing it again, and we all get rich off of it. And I'm sure he's having lots of fun. And it's like theater to him in a certain way, but I think there are actors and writers out there. I mean, directors, visionaries, and that I think that it'll be nice if he actually selected material for himself and said, "I've been dying to do this," and then see where that goes. And,
it's interesting to compare it to Winona Ryder. Right? Because, that's why he's famous. The guy dated Winona Ryder. I mean, he's going to be famous, as long as anyone who knows who was a teenager when Winona Ryder was a teenager is alive. But Winona Ryder did all these really strange parts that were really vulnerable, like in Black Swan and things like that. Although they were minor, she's not really as famous as he has remained. But she has done these very small, the Iceman movie where she played the wife of the hitman, which is a fabulous movie that I don't think got a lot of attention, but she was incredible in it. She's done these small, meaningful parts that are a real great body of work, but they're not, it's not Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, it's interesting, watching their trajectories side by side.